Hey guys, welcome. I'm Sunny and today we're gonna talk about the history of KTM motorcycles. So let's get started. With its ready-to-race phenomena, believe it or not, the Austrian two-wheeler manufacturer KTM has made a huge impact on two-wheeler market in the world. KTM is highly known for its off-road motorcycles, though it has expanded its portfolio into super sport, naked and touring motorcycles. But it all started with this man, Hans Trunkenpolz, who opened a metal repairing shop in 1934 and later started selling DKW motorcycles and Opel cars in 1937. With its continuous hardship and efforts, the Trunkenpolz company became one of the biggest motorcycle and car repair workshops in Upper Austria. In 1951, KTM developed its first motorcycle R100, a lightweight 98cc Rotex engine with full starter. All the components were produced in-house except the engine. R100 came into production in 1953. In year 1954, KTM wins its first title in Austrian 125 category national championship. Later in year 1955, Tourist 125cc model was developed. Following the year in 1956, KTM made its first appearance in international 6-day trials, an oldest off-road event where it secured gold medal. In 1957, the range of KTM motorcycles was further developed with its first sport motorcycle Trophy 125cc. In 1958, Erwin Lechner keeps on winning off-road title with KTM's new racing motorcycle. During 1960s, KTM won 3 gold medals in international 6-day trials and produced off-road motorcycle Phantom and exported in US. In 1970s, KTM started producing its own engines. Manfred Klar won the Austrian National Championship on the newly developed 250cc motocross bike. Gennady Moisev won the 3 250cc motocross world championship titles for KTM. The workforce reached 400 and production of newly 250cc cross and endurance commenced. Later in 1980s, KTM produced the first water-cooled 125cc motocross bike along with production of 4-stroke bike commenced. Heinz Kinney Gardner won the 2 motocross world championship for KTM. KTM also became the first manufacturer to offer front and rear disc brake and won titles in every category of international 6-day trials. In 1991, KTM applied for bankruptcy. The company was split into 4 independent divisions, namely motorcycles, bicycles, radiators and tools. Although KTM won 1 title in 125cc World Enduro Championship. A year later in 1992, KTM won World Enduro Championship titles in 125cc and 350cc category. In 1993, KTM won 5 categories in Atlas Rally. In 1994, company renamed into KTM Sport Motorcycle AG and the production of first Duke started. 1995 was again a good year for KTM with 2 Enduro World Championship titles along with 1 Master Rally and Tunisia Rally titles. In year 1996, KTM started producing its first series of KTM LC4 engine with e-starter and won countless wins in Enduro and Rally Championship. A year later in 1997, KTM introduced LC4 Supermoto and Adventure to market and won 3 Enduro World Championship titles in 125, 400 and 500cc category. During 1998 and 99, KTM started production of 4-stroke engines with separate lubrication and added linkless suspension system in 2-stroke bike with several design changes into its lineup. KTM won 3 titles in World Enduro Championship in 125cc, 350cc and 400cc category. In year 2000, 2001 and 2002, KTM won numerous titles in World Enduro Championship and Motocross Championship. In 2003, KTM launched the 950 Adventure, which was a liquid-cooled 4-stroke V-twin DOHC engine which produced around 102 horsepower, and in the same year, KTM enters the 125cc MotoGP Championship. Later in 2004, KTM launches the 990 Super Duke with 999cc twin-cylinder engine making 120 horsepower and also introduced the 990 RC8 Venom and the 950 Supermoto at the Intermot in Munich. In 2005, KTM launched the 950 Supermoto along with the presentation of 990 Adventure and 950 Super Enduro R. KTM won 16 World Championship titles that year with a total of 120 titles. In November of 2007, Bajaj Auto Limited of India acquired 14.5% stake in KTM Power Sports AG and increased their shareholding to 47% by 2012. 2008 proved another very successful year for KTM, winning all 6 World Enduro Championship titles. A year later in 2009, KTM presented 350cc SXF MX race bike along with the two 125cc concept bikes at EICMA Milan. By the end of the year, KTM won a total of 173 World Championship titles. In 2010, KTM does the impossible and brings home all the motocross World Championship titles. Antonio Cairoli wins the MX1 class on the revolutionary 350 SXF, while Marvin Musquin secures the MX2 title and Steffi Lyer the WMX title. In the same year, KTM launched Duke 125. It was basically aimed at young and new riders and was powered by a fuel-injected 4-stroke single-cylinder engine which produced 15.2 horsepower. The 990 SMR and SMT models were also introduced in that year. A year later in 2011, Mark Coma wins the motorcycle class in the Dakar Rally, first time out on a KTM 450 rally, making his third win and KTM's 10th consecutive win. The fourth generation of KTM Duke 690 was unveiled at EICMA. KTM also introduced the Duke 200, which was an updated version of Duke 125 with bigger 200cc engine. 2012 marks the most successful year in the history of KTM. With more than 107,000 vehicles sold and a turnover of 610 million euros, KTM steps up to the biggest motorcycle manufacturer in Europe. KTM won 20 World Championship titles and 12th successive victory at the Dakar. And in the same year, the Duke 690R was unveiled at EICMA. The KTM Duke 690R came with a fully adjustable front and rear suspension and an Akropovich exhaust system. The engine produced 70 horsepower. The brakes were updated with a 4-piston caliper at front and an ABS system. The handle and the foot pegs had also been adjusted for a more race-oriented seating. A new model, the Duke 390, was also introduced. The Street Fighter was based on Duke 200 in terms of styling but was a totally different altogether. It produced 44 horsepower and 35 Nm of torque with its single-cylinder liquid-cooled fuel-injected engine. The Duke 390 had an amazing power-to-weight ratio of over 300 horsepower per ton. In year 2013, KTM introduced the new 1290 Super Duke R at EICMA. The new 1290 Super Duke R was powered by liquid-cooled V-twin engine, which was based on RC8 with ride-by-wire throttle, ABS, traction control, anti-stoppie and anti-wheelie control. Later in the year 2015, KTM launched Duke and RC250 for Indonesian markets. Both carries 250cc single-cylinder fuel-injected engine which produced 31 horsepower and 24 Nm of torque with its 6-speed transmission. 1 year later in 2016, KTM revealed its 790 Duke prototype at EICMA. The motorcycle features a new 800cc parallel twin LC8C engine with ride-by-wire throttle, multiple ride modes, multi-level traction control and phone connectivity. KTM also updated the models of 1290 Super Duke R, Duke 125, Duke 200 and Duke 390. And in the same year, Brad Binder won the 2016 Moto3 World Championship title for KTM. At present, KTM AG is 46% owned by a subsidiary of Cross Industries AG and 52% owned by Bajaj Auto. Cross Industries is founded by KTM's current CEO Stefan Pierer. In India, Bajaj Auto has a stake of 78% while Cross AG owns 21% of company. So that's the history of KTM motorcycles. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video.